Welcome to the ROI Blueprint, Mexico edition, where we uncover strategies and insights to help successful entrepreneurs and investors thrive in the Mexico real estate market. My name is Alexandria Pham, and today's episode is brought to you by DLT Capital. We are meeting with the CEO of DLT Capital, Gibran Lopez. So, Gibran, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've had a very interesting background before you founded DLT Capital.
Yeah, definitely. So DLT Capital is now, and before that, like you were saying, I was in the military for a very long time, 15 years, and it's kind of shaped who I am.
Okay.
And being in the military gives you a better perspective about the world,
Mhm.
right? It gives you a different lens. It makes you go see foreign lands across the world. And in addition to that, I'm Mexican, originally born in Guadalajara, and then lived in the States, and it's kind of formulated who I am and what all my entrepreneurial beginnings have been, right? Very hustle game, but what we see in DLT Capital is the formulation of who I am and
Right?
likewise who my partner is too, who
Okay.
is also my partner in life.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
Ha Win is also my partner in life, who is the other partner in DLT Capital. We
Mhm.
both have DLT Capital, and what we do for our clients is explore the international market.
Mhm.
Specifically right now in emerging markets such as Tulum, and that's why we're here in this beautiful place
Yes.
with you. And that's what DLT Capital is connecting investors to emerging markets that will realize high returns on their investments.
Okay.
That's what we specialize in.
So let me make sure I have all this right. DLT is US based,
Correct.
but you guys work primarily with Canadian and US investors exploring markets abroad, right?
Exactly,
Ah,
exactly,
okay.
exactly.
So let's take it back a little bit though. Military and then also crypto. I believe that that's a part of your background as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. So dabbling into cryptocurrency, you've seen it all over the news
Mm-hmm.
recently, and it's where we're headed,
Right.
right? As you can see, also a lot of banks around the world are taking a large stake in the game by
Mm-hmm.
purchasing different assets, digital assets. So what we saw and what I started in the very early beginnings back in the early 2000s is starting to understand what is cryptocurrency,
Mm-hmm.
what is the blockchain, can you exchange it, can you use it,
Right.
right? And we can go further back in history on the bartering system,
Mm-hmm.
exchanging flowers for goods, and,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we are. We're kind of reliving that rotation or cycle, for a better word, of currency. And we're exploring that now in the digital age. As I started learning more and more, I got more associated to the people that are in the creation of these digital assets. And it was
Right.
great to understand it. But furthermore, we understood that there's a leveraging factor to it, right?
Okay.
We have currently a very rigid way to purchase properties,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, right? Mortgage vehicles, leveraging of equity of currently owned assets,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. So, but why not use cryptocurrency?
Mm.
And in DLT Capital, we saw that gap in the market, and we're like, wait, why not? Why can't we use cryptocurrency to purchase assets? And that's where we are now, which kind of launched me into a new venture with a partner also called Live Better Mexico,
Okay.
that we enable the purchase of real estate and other assets in Mexico. So that way you as a buyer can use your cryptocurrency, leverage it, and purchase here,
Oh,
right?
that's amazing. That's it's opening a new door for investors for an opportunity to get in.
Exactly.
Now, for novice investors, right, that are
Yeah.
brand new to this, how can we explain it in layman's term, right? What crypto is doing in the real estate market?
Yeah, definitely. It's making it faster, easier.
Hmm.
So take a look at it. A wire transfer
Hmm.
takes forever,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes it's gotten better,
Hmm.
maybe 24 to 72 hours to get a wire transfer and do the transaction. Um, there's other ways of payments. However, with cryptocurrency, you are a buyer, I am
Hmm.
the receiver of those goods. It happens in just
Yeah.
seconds. And you're immediately the owner of whatever the asset you're purchasing. So it enables a more efficient and secure way of payment. That is the two main points I want to get across:
Hmm.
speed and security,
Yes. Now,
right?
security plays a huge role, especially with investors who are investing from overseas, right? Like,
Yeah.
how does DLT like you saw the gap like you said earlier and you wanted to close that gap. Is that what inspired you to really start DLT to inform people and
It's
help
funny.
them?
This is obviously money is great to make money, find gaps, and understand the market, and and create solutions that people want.
Mhm.
But in all reality, it's going to be a different spin on this. It was actually me saying to my wife, I want a property in Mexico.
Okay.
And that's how it all started.
Oh,
DLT
wow.
said, hey, I want to create this. And the expertise of my wife, who has years and years of experience in the real estate world, we kind of put it together. This dream of owning property for
Mhm.
ourselves, you
Mhm.
know, and then also bringing that same dream to all of our clients,
Right.
especially here in Mexico. You know,
Mhm.
who doesn't want to own a piece of paradise?
I mean, exactly.
Exactly, right?
We're beautiful Tulum. Like, who doesn't want to have a
Exactly.
piece of this in their life?
So once we had that dream, the process, the knowledge, we kind of understood the market, found the gaps, and said, why not bring it together?
Okay.
And we created DLT Capital holistically. And from there, that's where the crypto comes into place. We partnered up with other entrepreneurs who we together developed the solution to
Mhm.
receive cryptocurrency and then pay for goods and services here in Mexico. And that company is called Live Better Mexico.
Mhm.
So look us up. Uh, look us up.
Beautiful plug. I
Yeah,
love that.
totally. So if you're looking to buy in the Riviera Maya or anywhere across Mexico, please let us know. We're always here to help. But the biggest thing is we are continuing to evolve
Mm.
as in Mexico real estate.
Mhm.
And a lot of us expats, and I kind of have to call myself an expat because I've
Right.
been gone from Mexico for such a long time.
Mhm.
And coming back to Mexico and understanding the environment, the business, the real estate, it's much different than what I thought it was, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of DLT Capital, what we do is educate our customers how to purchase, where to purchase, what does that mean to me as an individual buyer?
Mhm.
What do I have to get ready for? So DLT Capital is a holistic um, solution to any buyer, right? It could be a novice buyer, first time buyer, second home.
Mhm.
That's what we really specialize in is creating that seamless process.
Oh, I love that. Now, from your experience, again, when you're working with your clients and everything, like security has to come up, right?
Mhm.
So, how do you help them and support them in that and guide them through that process, right? And then also, like, what gaps do you see there that you guys have been able to fill? And you said you're constantly evolving,
Yeah,
but like, how does that change
right.
as the market continues to change?
Yeah, so the security aspect of it, well, first of all, when you associate Mexico and security, it has a
Right,
bad connotation.
right.
So one, you have to educate where Tulum is,
Hmm.
where Quintana Roo is, where Yucatan is, and as you
Right.
can see, I'm going from micro to macro,
Exactly.
and providing that holistic
Context.
and context
Hmm.
of where Mexico is and how large Mexico is, right? Because there's a lot of news that really focus on the bad things,
Hmm.
and that's one of the first steps is educating our clients on where we are and why it matters, right?
Right.
I usually use an example. Cancun was created in 1970,
Hmm.
right? And it was
Hmm.
created for tourism,
Yeah.
for the same exact reason that Tulum exists. But no, what's different between Tulum and Cancun is that Tulum has got a different vibe. You and I both know
Yeah.
it. I'm here with my kids,
Hmm.
and they enjoy Tulum, and
Yep.
we're here for long, extended times of the year. And what I see is that versus these created tourist towns, this is continuously evolving.
Hmm.
That's why I go back to the term from our beginning of their introduction is an emerging market continues to evolve
Yep.
is existence,
Hmm.
right? And we're going to see more and more of it. So going back to your question in regards to security, what we really specialize is holding their hand,
Mm.
right? Because not only me as DLT Capital as a service provider, I have to ensure that they feel comfortable the whole
Yeah.
entire way,
Hmm.
right? So that means having them understand the environment. Secondly, the process,
Hmm.
and then the aftercare,
Yep.
right? So what happens in between is that we have experts, and by experts I mean the legal advisors
Hmm.
that guide the process, right? That do the due diligence for any purchases that they're going to do,
Hmm.
and lastly, continue that continuous support to them. Hey, I need to go get a vehicle. How do I
Hmm.
do this? And that goes beyond our service,
Yep.
but what it is we provide that secure transaction and relationship we have with them, right?
Mm.
Because they're clients forever.
So for you, the security starts with the relationship.
Oh, definitely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because again, because in real estate, things become so transactional sometimes that you kind of lose that part of it, right? But
Yeah.
with DLT, you guys are doing it throughout the whole process where you're building the relationship, that rapport, and
Exactly.
ensuring the security factor.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a long lasting relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We never break up. That's how I want to put it.
I love that. Yeah. It's
So
infinity and beyond.
infinity. And beyond. Definitely. But yeah, that's what we want to focus on. And who doesn't want to do it to purchase in paradise? You know, the Vive. We could talk all day about the Vive of
Mm-hmm.
Tulum, but you know, it's the dream that first gets us the
Mm-hmm.
clients to be here.
No, I love that. Now, the biggest thing for investors, though, right, and clients overall, at the end of the day, is the ROI.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
what am I getting out of this, right? How do you guys, as advisors, right, help them through that process and guide them? Like, how do you choose the people that you want to work with, the developers and everything like that? What does that look like for you? And what are the opportunities for the
Yeah.
investors?
So let me answer this way. DLT Capital, we are very picky.
Mm-hmm.
So you, in comparison to a lot of real estate investment firms, we don't have a million listings.
Right.
We don't, and that's on purpose.
Okay.
And the main reason why is because the relationships we have with developers, such as
Mm-hmm.
Amari, right? This beautiful villa that we're currently standing in stands for quality,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the rest assurance that this has been built and it's operating.
Mm-hmm.
So DLT Capital, what we do is curate menus of developments that we believe in, that we go into partnerships, again, long-lasting relationships
Mm-hmm.
with our developers also, and represent their product abroad.
Okay.
So that is one of the things that we do. We're not in the business of huge volume of listings no, we specialize on providing quality products
Mm-hmm.
to the quality clients that we have.
So currently, again, you guys are focusing here in the
Yeah.
Mexican market, right?
Yeah.
What are some opportunities that you're seeing that people aren't necessarily tapping into just yet?
I think the very first one is there's so many products out there,
Mm-hmm.
so many that you can pick from. What people don't take advantage of is because of fear, meaning pre-construction.
Right.
Pre-construction is where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that enough. You buy now and you gain all that equity until it's done. I think a lot of people that from the States specifically
Mm-hmm.
may be not aware of understanding the methodology of
Right.
pre-construction.
Not as privy to it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
maybe not as common, but some are. If you're in a metropolitan city, you'll see that there's
Mm-hmm.
high-rise towers that
Mm-hmm.
are pre-construction. But that's one of them. You know, in Canada, they're very used to pre-construction,
Right.
right? I can't say that both the U.S. more over the other. However, pre-construction is where you capitalize on the biggest ROI,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're gaining equity as those years go by or months go by. Then
Mm-hmm.
finally, when you get that turnkey product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where else do we see it? We see it in the luxury market.
Okay.
You know, that's where Tulum is headed.
Mm-hmm.
Luxury. Unique residences
Mm-hmm.
that have everything that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from the concierge service that knows what you want
Right.
to something that's unheard of. Maybe I want an IV bag, you know, after a
Right.
night out
Yep.
in Tulum, right?
It's the balance.
It's the balance.
Yes.
It's the balance. And as you can see here, this individual villa,
Mm-hmm.
it's about creating a unique experience
Mm-hmm.
in a luxury estate.
Yeah.
Right. That's where we see where Tulum is headed.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there is a lot of inventory, but
Mm-hmm.
with such large inventory of 1 to 2 bedrooms, there's a lot of competition in that space.
Right.
There's not so
It's
much
very saturated.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There's not so much competition in the luxury space.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you got your big staple items out there,
Mm-hmm.
without mentioning names, but there's very nice villas out there, and good for those that got into that space. But there are more affluent people that are coming to
Right.
Tulum. As you probably have seen in Tulum Airport, the private terminal
Mm-hmm.
for charter jets is busy.
Yeah.
It's very busy. So that's an indicator on luxury must be here.
Mm-hmm.
But when to get in, and the time is now to get in those luxury items. So what am I talking about? Yeah, beyond 4 bedrooms,
Mm-hmm.
beyond just a splash pool, a
Mm-hmm.
big pool,
Mm-hmm.
beyond just a small little spa. No, have a yoga
Yeah.
space for in your own individual villa.
Right.
The services, we could talk about services all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Here at Amari, you have all kinds of services, which
Mm-hmm.
is great, amazing. But what else can you do?
Right.
Think about it. If I'm an investor now,
Mm-hmm.
given the budget, I would totally go into a pre-construction product
Okay.
in the luxury space in a residence,
Okay.
right? In a standalone residence
Mm-hmm.
where it's not only secure, but it provides all the amenities and services available to my guests and to myself because I
Right.
also want to enjoy it.
Yeah. Now that makes sense. Now we talked a lot about Tulum so far, but where else do you see emerging markets within Mexico at this
Oh
moment?
yeah, definitely. So emerging markets in Mexico, Mexico City,
Okay.
amazing. There's so many buildings going up. There's so many branded products
Mm-hmm.
going there. High-rise towers, and we're talking about multiple $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're not just talking about 1 to 2 million. We're talking about 2, 3, 4, $5 million condos and apartment buildings,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um,
Condos.
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
so we're that's it's a big space, Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
Guadalajara is one of them, and then one big competitor to Tulum and Quintana Roo overall is Baja California,
Okay.
what is Cabo, Todos Los Santos, and
Mm-hmm.
up north into the wine country.
Mm.
There's a lot of growth going on there,
Okay.
and you see a lot of affluence, right,
Mm-hmm.
coming from California,
Exactly.
right, because it's more proximate to them.
Mm-hmm.
So and plus it's beautiful,
Yeah.
right? In Mexico, Baja California is a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
You got a great environment.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Pacific, and you also have the other body of water on the opposite side, the Maro Cortez,
Mm-hmm.
and people like it. They love it. They love going there. I think it's one of those unique environments where you have beach and desert,
Right.
right?
It's
So
like it's this beautiful merging of the two. Yeah.
exactly,
And here we
exactly.
have beach and jungle.
Beach and jungle,
Yeah.
which there's nothing wrong with beach and jungle
Right.
because you don't get it everywhere.
Yep.
But as we go across Mexico, you'll see that Monterrey
Mm-hmm.
is also an industrial capital for Mexico and it's thriving,
Yeah.
right? You'll see the same exact metropolitan environment that you see in Mexico City, Guadalajara.
Mm-hmm.
On the opposite side of that, you have Oaxaca.
Okay.
Oaxaca is on the map. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they got great surfing.
Mm-hmm.
Also great cuisine,
Mm.
right? That's a lot of
Love food.
the food is amazing
Yes.
there. And lately, it's been coming up in the news and best known for their fabrics,
Mm.
right? Because the artisanal fabrics, I think one of the big top designers, and I'll have to look that up and get back to you, but
No worries.
they were actually looking at the fabrics in Oaxaca, but the artisanal made
Mm-hmm.
fabrics made there, by the locals. So it's up and coming, not just necessarily because of the cuisine
Mm-hmm.
and the beaches and the surf, but also because of the affluence of culture,
Oh, yes.
right. It's that additional, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not
So
even
it's a
addition, it's
little touch on top, like a
right,
little your cherry on top of everything.
exactly,
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about opportunities.
yeah.
Now, the biggest thing that investors are looking for, right, is the ROI. So how do we tie all that back? Like what opportunities are there, and like how do you guide your clients through that process so that they're making sound decisions, right, and also getting the most gains out of their investment?
Yeah, definitely. So what we usually do in DLT Capital, we do market analysis individual per person, right?
Okay.
Per client. And then on top of it, we divide it inside of portfolios,
Mm,
right? Portfolios meaning understanding 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, 5 plus.
yeah.
And ROI, we segmented in those. And when we take a look at to use a use case, Tulum,
Mm-hmm.
is we look at the understanding the market. We talked about luxury, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the luxury is going to take 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we tell our customers. Hey, 3 to 5 years, you're going to be expecting this ROI,
Okay.
right? So in regards to dollar amounts, you have villas out here currently that are 4 plus bedrooms making 10 G's,
Mm-hmm.
$10,000, 10 G's,
Mm-hmm.
$10,000 in one night,
Mm-hmm.
given the right conditions, right? Like
Right.
Samna Festival or
Absolutely.
whatever, high season, which is amazing. So that's how we manage it. Return on investment, we're very tailor made to what our investors want
Mm-hmm.
and need, and not go beyond what they can afford. And then,
That's
it,
very great to hear because
yeah,
most times they don't advise that. They're like, "Oh, let's just go all in," right?
yeah, no, definitely. One of the best things to do is steward someone's money because it's also a way to secure a relationship because
Yeah.
we don't want them to have a bad time,
Mm-hmm.
with our service. But overall, return on investment, you're going to get it in Mexico.
Right.
To go back at the macro level, an
Mm-hmm.
emerging market entirely in the real estate is Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether you are in the north looking at Baja, either from Rosarito all the way down to Cabo San Lucas,
Mm-hmm.
there's great ROI there.
Mm-hmm.
If you go inner Mexico to Mexico City, great ROI there.
Mm-hmm.
Monterrey, Guadalajara, and then also Oaxaca,
Mm-hmm.
and down to here to the peninsula or to the Yucatan Peninsula, what Merida is,
Mm-hmm.
Valladolid,
Mm-hmm.
Cancun, Playa, and Tulum. These should be on your map. If
Okay.
you're a real estate investor and you're looking to get into the game, take a look at the map overall. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of cool things going on in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, we could talk days about the Tulum airport. We could talk about the Mayan train, the transatlantic transportation
Yeah.
line now that Mexico is working on,
Mm-hmm.
that connects the Gulf to the Pacific to compete against the Panama Canal.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of things going on
Mm-hmm.
in Mexico, but overall, return on investment should equal Mexico for you.
Oh,
Meaning,
that's a beautiful tagline. Is that DOT's new tagline?
yeah, totally is.
Okay.
Totally is.
Love that. Love that. All right. So how do we navigate the challenges though? Like you said earlier, like there are great opportunities, right? And great return on investment, especially during high season. And someone who's a new investor might not understand that concept of like having to hold your portfolio and like understanding that, it takes time to grow that investment, right?
Mhm.
How do we navigate those challenges that might come up?
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with education,
Mm-hmm.
educating your buyer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Savvy investors. I've had plenty of conversations where they're like, "Hebron, here's $3 million.
Go.
Go."
Yeah.
Okay, sure, right, which is great. Great
Mm-hmm.
for DLT, great for them because they understand timing
Yep.
in reference to their money and when they want to make that money
Mm-hmm.
back. However, there are your early investors and early purchasers into a foreign country that
Right.
you really have to hold their hand throughout the entire process.
Mm-hmm.
And what the biggest thing that I go back to is educating them.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico City is not the same as Todos Santos. Todos
Right.
Santos is not the same as Tulum.
Mm-hmm.
Tulum is not the same as Merida,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we sit down with them and educate them about the area, right? Here's what's coming to the area. Here are your height seasons. Here is what you should be looking out for. And here are the experts that we will have you talk to
Mm-hmm.
in order to make the right decision for your investment overall.
Yeah.
So navigating this goes to a tailor-made educational process. And it's funny to say that because not to say that the buyer's not educated, but it's better to go into a learning environment together
Mm-hmm.
with the customer so that way they feel comfortable,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes people may think of, oh, you're not educated. It's not about I'm telling you to get educated. It's I'm giving you all the factors to make a better
Yes.
decision.
To make the sound
Yeah,
decision.
sound decision.
No, I
Yes.
love that. So again, some things that come up when it comes to investing in a foreign country, investing in security in Mexico, right?
Yeah,
With your background with crypto, with securities and military and investing here now, having done this, like how do you see all those pieces coming together? What puzzle pieces did you put together to build this whole picture to make sure that DLT is not only successful, but you're successfully guiding your clients through this whole process?
yeah. Um, it comes on into a progressive buyer process,
Mm,
right? You can't start at point five, and this happens a lot.
okay.
Alex, you come to me. Oh, I found it. I found it. I found it. I
Hmm.
found it. I saw an
I'm
ad. I
eager.
saw an ad. Here, take my money. I'm like, whoa, awesome. But let's go to step one.
Hmm.
Do you know what the process of purchasing in Mexico is?
Right.
right? Because that's one of the biggest questions. And
Mhm.
like, yes, I'm very eager to get into this investment, but let's talk through what that looks like for you.
Mhm.
Are you a Canadian? Are you from Europe? Are you from the US?
Mhm.
Okay, great. And then we understand what your needs are.
Mhm.
Meaning, maybe you want to sit down your accountant at your in your country and an accountant here to figure out the best way
Mhm.
possible to establish a corporation here to maximize your benefits of taxation,
Mhm.
right? Or you buy it in a trust for your family. Um, Whatever those needs are, it's about taking a progressive step,
Yep.
right? So holistic and DLT and all our sales advisors, they're trained on taking it from step one all the way to the finish line.
I love
And
that.
sometimes I will be, completely honest. We get to step one and they reconsider,
Mhm.
and not necessarily because of the process, is
Mhm.
because they reconsider the property.
Mhm.
They're like, wait, you're right. That doesn't fit what I need, right?
Right.
Because it may be a resale, it may be pre-construction, whatever it may need.
Mhm.
Then they start thinking a little deeper into the understanding of the overall acquisition of that product,
Yep.
right? So, so it's a progressive process, educating them all along, building that relationship so they feel safe,
Mhm.
secure. And when I put it all together with my background and experience, I did a lot of things when I first came to Tulum to start purchasing on my
Mhm.
own.
Mhm.
Ah,
It's ready.
just like it's same thing. Oh, I saw that and I wanted it.
Mhm.
But then you learn,
Yep.
obviously, right?
Yep.
And then what's even better is the collaboration
Uh-huh.
that you have here. There's a lot of a big expat community. Also, the national real estate professionals here are
Mhm.
very good. Also, there's great community.
Mhm.
Just overall to go and purchase something, talk to people, right? I'm not saying to let go of that dream that you do have to
Mhm.
purchase abroad, but talk to people, understand the environment, even before talking to DLT or anyone out there. Do your due diligence, feel comfortable with the decisions you're about to take,
Mhm.
and then move forward.
Awesome. Well, are there any final thoughts that you might have and just the overall market and like international investment, and especially in Mexico, and what DLT has to offer for that?
Definitely. So, if you are looking to go abroad,
Mhm.
we talked about it. Due diligence is of the utmost importance. And what we see is emerging markets is where you're going to make your most money,
Mhm.
right? A pre-construction is where you want to be, depending on your profile investor profile.
Mhm.
And DLT has it all for you.
Mhm.
We're a holistic solution for any investors.
Mhm.
Whether you're a developer trying to bring a product to market into the U.S. or Canada, or
Mhm.
you're a buyer trying to initiate your first purchase,
Mhm.
we're here to help, right? We're connecting and establishing the bridge to make this happen,
Mhm.
right? And to make it successful for everybody. In regards to return on investment is going to come regardless of where you purchase.
Mhm.
It's the decision point of when you make it,
Mm.
right? A lot of people ask, well, when is the best time to buy? Well, the best time to buy is now,
Mhm.
right? Because otherwise you'll be looking back, 5 years from now and saying, oh, I should have bought.
Right, and now I don't have that equity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now the same prices won't be available then.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and when you're purchasing, it's not about having all the cash, right?
Mhm.
Understand what pre-construction means, meaning that you can pay up front and
Mhm.
then pay in installments through that product is done.
Mhm.
Or likewise, if you have digital assets,
Yep.
use your digital assets. You probably made, like some that are very lucky, they've
Mhm.
made a lot of money,
Mhm.
right? Because they got in early in cryptocurrency.
Yep.
And now you can use those gains through Live Better Mexico.
There we go. Second
To
plug.
second plug, to purchase anywhere in Mexico
Mhm.
through Live Better Mexico or LVMX
Mhm.
and DLT Capital. So
Oh, that's amazing. Well, Gibran, thank you so much for spending time with us today and sharing your knowledge, your background, and helping us see the full picture and the blueprint that is you.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
appreciate it.
No problem. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment to let us know what topics you'd like us to cover next. Also, stay tuned for the next episode when we uncover another blueprint with another exciting guest. Thank you.